everybody. This is Katerina Panopoulou from Artist Coaching, and this is an interview with Khris Clymer. Today, he's going to share his story from actually making less than 1K per month back in June into 11K month in November. Quite impressive. Composing music for filmmakers. Khris, I know you are super busy composing for your clients at this point. So thank you so much for giving me a little bit of your time and being here today. So for those who don't know who you are, would you like, to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and what you do? Hello and welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me, Kat. Um, I'm Chris. I'm a composer, a media composer. So I write music for film, TV, commercials, video games mostly. Um, and I've been a composer for about 10 years or so. So have been trying to refine my craft and develop myself as a composer, but never really succeeded from a business point of view. And found you, and we started working together in, I think it was May or June. And, you
it,
know,
it was June.
yeah, and we're wrapping up, and I had the best month I've ever had from multiple projects. And yeah, here we are.
Okay, so would you like to describe a little bit about your offer? Like, what is specifically that you do? Like, who are the people that you want to help like the most?
Yeah. I For this I focused really on indie filmmakers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Media composer, you can score music for any form of media, but we started off just by focusing on indie filmmakers because that's truly what I enjoy doing the most, and
Mm-hmm.
that I think I would have just the best ability to get in on that market more so than the other areas. Um, so indie filmmakers, although some commercial work came out of that too. Um, so my offer is um, essentially I help tell clients stories through music, and that's, as a media composer, what we're after. That's our mission. That's the whole goal of what we're trying to do is retell the director's story through music, and we support the story in every way we can musically. And so that was my offer. and
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, so you basically defined your ideal clients at this point, and you presented like a specific offer for them, but you were still able to attract other type of ideal clients, like you said, coming from commercial.
Yeah.
Um, Uh, an interesting fact is that most composers are focusing on finding like publishing companies and music libraries. Like that's the first thing that most composers are looking to do. Can you share like where do you find your clients currently?
Yeah. And that's interesting you mentioned that, trying to find publishers or trying to find music libraries to write for and work for. And I definitely did a little bit of that. And I think one thing that was interesting through this whole process is that it sort of brought to light the differences between finding film projects to supply custom music for, versus writing music for music libraries.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it really brought to light the financial differences of that. I think
Mm-hmm.
with, people make great careers writing for music libraries, and you can do really well. It's a long haul. You have to write a lot for quite a while till it starts
Mm-hmm.
building up, and and paying off. Um, but what I realized through this that I didn't like about that is that it's very speculative
Mm-hmm.
versus the work we did in getting clients and getting indie film projects to write for is it's immediate. You know, you're getting paid right away essentially. And
Mm-hmm.
and I like that much better. I definitely put in time for music libraries and um had, you know, some success. You get uh, some things landed and I get paid, but a
Mm-hmm.
lot of other things don't. And you just have no idea what's going to make it and what's going to pay out in the future.
Yeah.
Whereas getting clients and doing narrative projects and finding people to work with immediately to supply custom music for is it takes the speculation out. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like in real estate investing. If you it's kind of the difference in buying and hoping property is gonna appreciate and get, which it almost always does, but you know, just sort of hoping something goes up in value versus maybe renting it out or subletting it and getting money right away. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you see the financial payoff immediately. And
Mm-hmm.
I personally just like working that way better. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and sorry, what was your actual question? I forget.
No, no, you answered the question greatly, I must say, and I like this metaphor. So the way that I would put it in one sentence is that it also gives you a way to control the outcome instead of passively submitting music and waiting to be getting paid at some point. And
Exactly. Yeah. It's a
okay.
gamble. The other way is a gamble, really. I mean, you don't know what you're gonna get. You don't know what you're gonna get paid, and you don't know if you'll get paid anything. And there's a lot of uncertainty right now with AI, and um, I that to me adds even more uncertainty into that model, that business model. And
Mm.
I don't know, it's just, you know, I'll still dabble in it, but it's just not. I like what we've done, what I've kind of discovered through this. I like it much better, and
Okay.
I hope to continue the model that I like better.
Okay. Okay. So, can you share a little bit about your situation, like before we started working together? What was like the differences between then and now?
Yeah, it. I think normal my normal business practice was um, maybe getting a few clients a year, and most of those most of those would be returning clients, just people that I've worked with over the years and have just developed a good relationship with, and you know, maybe I'm their go-to composer, and so I would just sort of wait until their stuff would come along, and
Mm.
maybe it would pay, maybe it wouldn't. You know, I didn't really buckle down on doing free work um, till now. So I haven't done a free job since we've worked together. I think that's a major point. And and so yeah, I made some money because the occasional gig would come through that would pay,
Mhm.
and it would be okay sometimes depending on the project. A lot of times it wouldn't. Um, and I did typically say I would normally say yes to just about everything, but I don't do that anymore. Um,
Mm.
in fact, like since starting working with you, I and I think it was my first phone call was a no bid from me because you know just the pay wasn't where what we had established that I should be charging, and so that was a that was a learning experience, and that's something I took away, and that that's a major difference, I think. Um, so yeah, way more life before the program was probably more like the normal artist lifestyle of having a blurry line between business and art and not really knowing what to do with that, not not having clear boundaries between the two, and it yeah, wasn't successful. It was a little messy.
Okay, okay. And an interesting fact to share is that I remember that your original goal was actually to be able to hit consistent 3K months. Am I right in this?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that would have been that would be a great magic number.
Okay. And November was an 11K month, so you definitely overaccomplished your goal.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like four times more than your original goal, right?
Yeah, yeah, I was
So
kind of blown away by that, but yeah.
why do you think that happened though, Chris?
Um, I mean, it was definitely the methods we put in place. Um, I one thing, and I'll give some advice to people that maybe do your program. And just hearing people on the calls on your coaching program, and my overall advice, and I think what helped me and what helped your other successful clients
Hmm.
is just turning off the emotion, turning off the anxiety about doing marketing.
Hmm.
I definitely had the same artist mindset of hating to put myself out there, hating to reach out and talk to people, afraid that they'll call me out and call me an imposter or something. But I remember early on in the program, someone in our group asked you, what they asked you about another successful client you had and said, well, what was different about him? What was different about, and you said, um, he didn't take time to think about the stuff I was asking him to do. He just did it. And
Hmm.
I kind of took that to heart and did the same thing then. I, didn't, I really tried to not get hung up on overthinking every task I was doing. It is, it is like a very metrics based process. You should, as you instruct, you should track your reach, track your followers, um, track your conversations, track um, your your sales, your closings. Really basic business stuff. Um,
Hmm.
and you can't think about it. You just do it. You just do the work. You just do the task, and let the numbers grow. And so I took that. I think that was like a major difference, and that's my advice to people doing it, is like don't think about it, just do it. Like honestly, a lot of people on the internet don't give a shit about what you're posting anyways. No one's really gonna care. You could post something completely stupid and ridiculous. They're gonna hang on it for half a second and then keep swiping. It doesn't matter, none of it matters. So you just put in the work and do the tasks, and it grows from there.
You said it perfectly. You said it perfectly. So taking action was a major game changer for you. And you're very right that it's like one thing that um, is like the most important part. Like if you don't take action, you're not going to see results. It's pretty simple. But what would you say are perhaps other main things, that have helped you get those results, help you scale your business up to this point?
Besides that, um, certainly the coaching aspect. from your program. Um, and I keep calling it a program. I mean, it's really just time with you, right? I mean, you supply tools, um, and coaching, but it's not. I don't know. It's not like a structured program per se. It's not like a class. It's not like you're just handing over a class that is
Mm.
done. Um, so I keep calling it a program, but just so everyone's clear, it's coaching. That certainly helped, because I even had some work from before starting your program, um, that I needed help closing on, or needed help determining how to handle, um, the negotiations, um, and getting the gig that way. Um, so that was helpful in my growth. Um, what else? That's tough. What would you say you've noticed? That's besides those things.
One thing that I can definitely say that and give you the credits for is that you took the whole benefit of access to me. Like you were keep messaging me with your questions, with your difficulties, with the things that you do. Like you showed up, and I remember up to a point, in your initial steps, like before actually seeing results, when you started taking action, that you showed up like almost on a daily basis, like messaging me with your questions, with asking me for feedback, for guidance. So that's definitely one thing that for me is a great quality in a client, because you took the full benefit. You didn't, for example, wait until our group call Tuesday to ask me your questions. You took the opportunity, you were asking questions. So that means that you were also putting things into action. So asking questions, getting better, getting constant feedback, then again, putting more action, um, working on your systems. That is one thing that I believe definitely played a key into your progress and success, for sure.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of viewed it like school or college. You paid for it. You don't have to show up and go to class, but if you actually want to learn what you're paying for, you gotta go. You have to show up. And I definitely made a point to do that. And yeah, I probably bugged you. Um, I probably bugged you with all my questions and and messaging and stuff. You never showed that though. You were always responsive and very helpful. But I definitely took advantage of that too.
No, no, I mean, I say that in a positive way. Like for me, this is something that I'm looking from my clients, because you see, like a client who is not putting the work is not going to show up. Is not going to ask questions.
Yeah.
So then I will need to show up and keep them accountable. But I cannot do the work. This is something that I keep saying from even day zero, like before we start working. Like you need to put in the work and you need to show up. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be keeping you accountable, but you need to be willing to show up. So for me, that is a great quality. That is the quality that I'm looking from a client. Bugging me. It's not bugging me. It's actually, I'm happy that I have a client who pay attention, who put in the action, because that get us to amazing results, to celebrate, and share with other people to inspire them. So I'm interested to hear, like, what would be for you, like, what would you say has helped you the most? Like, was it mindset or was it the strategies?
I definitely a little bit of both. Um,
Okay.
mindset mindset definitely helped. Um, at the same time, and I remember you said this in one of your early sessions that, mindset is very important. It undoubtedly, you have to, a lot of us, a lot of people like me, a lot of artists going into this kind of work, um, often we have pretty shitty mindsets actually, especially when it comes to anything business related. Um, and it's what makes us good artists, right? But I remember early on you were big on that, and so I definitely had to adjust that. And but you did make a clear point that it doesn't mean you need to be one of those overly gaggy people that's just constantly cheery no matter what. They witness a car accident and they're still bubbly and happy. It's not it's not like that level of mindset. But you do have to mindset's not just the positivity part of it. Um, you do have to have a disciplined mindset too, I think, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to have a hopeful mindset and a determined mindset as well.
Mm-hmm.
So mindset isn't just positivity.
Mm.
It's those other things too that help drive you to success. So, you know, that doesn't mean what you were saying, it doesn't mean that you should just kind of sit there and be happy. You have to have a forward moving mindset,
Mm-hmm.
and that relates to like a task based mindset because that helps you actually get the work done. And
Yeah.
so yeah, mindset was definitely a part of it. Not in just a happy go lucky kind of change. Um, but for a lot of people, me included, that often means just don't be so negative. You don't necessarily have to be bubbly and happy, but don't be so doom and gloom. Don't be so skeptical. That's a
Mm-hmm.
that's an important part. Um, and again, you kind of have to just turn that off. You have to turn off the the skepticism. I mean, one, because I don't think you have much time. Like I didn't have any time to really question it too much. I question the tools or the tasks because wouldn't have gotten anywhere. You really have like a limited amount of time to make it happen, and just me being skeptical or questioning all this stuff wouldn't have helped. So you do kind of turn off your mind a little bit to I think you have to turn off your mind a little bit when you go through that stuff. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like you're saying, it's a lot of work. You have to put in the work, and if you think about other work that you do, you're not psyching yourself up to do like daily tasks that you might be doing. I don't know. You're not, like if you're cleaning your house or something, it's not. Sometimes you just have to not think about it and you just fucking do it. So I think it's
Exactly.
so
And in fact, one thing that I remember, like keep repeating to the group calls is it doesn't really matter how you feel. Like discipline is more important. Basically, you can wake up unhappy and still do the work. You can wake up and not feeling like doing work, but you can still be disciplined enough to do the work, and that is what actually will bring results. So it's not about being happy. Obviously being happy is good. If you are
right.
able to be happy, be happy. But business wise, You don't really need to be happy in order to be able to get results. You just need to be disciplined and
Mm.
do the stuff that are moving the needle. So, Chris, would you recommend others working with me?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And with the caveat that they know it's not you provide valuable tools, but I mean it's not even about that. It's about the coaching and the and the fostering that you do with their business. Um, but they have to it's still them doing the actual work. So, I mean, it's like coaching for anything else, for gymnastics or for sports or something. The coach isn't doing it for the athlete. The athletes
Mhm.
do it. They're just pointing them in the right direction, helping them get better and leading them to success. So, yeah, I absolutely would. Um, I would just tell that person, that potential client, like, just do what she says, and get ready to bust your ass.
You tell them, Chris.
I will.
So, who do you think artist coaching program like would be a really good fit for?
Um, that was interesting because when I saw you, you seemed very targeted towards music producers,
Mm-hmm.
and a media composer is not much different. Kind of the same. It's a very similar thing. Um, so and that, I wondered at first, like, what does this apply to me? And yeah, of course it does. It did. So I think anyone that wants to, um, I mean, I don't know how much you limit to just music, Kat. Maybe it is just music, but I think anyone that is creating music that they want to turn into a business in some way, um, would be an ideal client for you. Um, they, I, maybe not, I don't know about, like a performer, someone that's just trying to get some kind of following. I mean, I think your tools would help for that, but I mean, your program really is for them to have an offer a product that they want to
Mm-hmm.
make money on, um, doing what they love doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's worth mentioning that you managed to scale your business while working on a job and also having a family. And I
Yeah.
mention that because some people think that they don't have enough time building a profitable business, as a composer or as a music producer. So that's a big excuse for lots of people. Just because they have to work on another job or they have a family or even both. So I would like you to share how you managed to make it happen.
I'm glad you brought that up because I thought about that. Um, I I knew that I would be very, very busy just from life, um, because I do have a day job still, and I have a 2-year old,
Mhm.
um, and I even did a I did a fitness program coach thing at the same time as this, and I didn't want to do that, but it was just a good deal, so I did that, and I wanted to be successful at that too. So I had all of these things going on at once, and I knew from the very beginning that I wanted to be able to say at the end of the program, if I could do it with as busy as I am, that I think most people could do it. They put in, the same effort. And I with busyness, I get annoyed when people are just like, "Oh, I'm so busy, I can't do anything. I'm just busy, busy, busy." It becomes an excuse. Um, but really, it just forces you to reprioritize. And
Mhm.
we worked on some stuff with that, on prioritization,
Mhm.
and there were things that I didn't even think about or didn't even realize that I was doing that we kind of stripped down or set to the side because it, wasn't really moving the needle forward or adding much value to what my goals were. And and so that helped. And yeah, despite being insanely busy in life, still managed to do it. And it's about priorities and prioritizations. It's not like I ignored my family the whole time too. I still
Mhm.
had to still had to raise a kid and spend time with family. So it's not like I just disappeared for a few months to focus on this. Not at all. But you figure out how to do it. You become a little bit more organized with your time, and that's really important, really critical.
Yeah, and I remember that was also a priority for you in the beginning before you start, that you also had to make sure, that you don't need to vanish from your family and still be able, to support them emotionally and actually being with your family. So that's why I wanted to brought this up because it's a good example for anyone who might think that just because they have a busy schedule or they have a family, it's not possible to be balanced at everything and make it happen. Um, so I want to ask you, Chris, why should someone listening to us right now like take action?
I, I think people listening to this I think they would know right away if they want to take action, and they should jump on that feeling. Because if you have that little bit of an itch, that's enough drive to really get you moving. Um, and yeah, going into it, you probably have some uncertainty and some doubts. Like it's an investment you're making, and investments are risky. I mean, if it's a good investment, it's going to be risky, and it's going to feel risky at all. Um, you never seemed to be too worried about it. I could tell, but I always had some worry or concern. Am I gonna get these gigs? Am I gonna get these clients? Am I gonna find projects? And I could tell you seemed confident, but I still have a little bit of worry and doubt, but got through it. Um, but I think like a little bit of that is necessary. There's a little bit of apprehension people might feel going in, and that's when that's a good thing. That means you're pushing yourself a little bit, pushing
Mm-hmm.
yourself outside your comfort zone. Because again, there's a little risk, and but that's what it takes. That's what it takes to be successful. So yeah, anyone listening, I would say if you even have that little bit of an inkling, that little bit of an itch that this appeals to you because you can start developing your business, um, just you got to grab onto that. It won't happen later on. You can't don't
So,
don't give yourself next year. Don't give yourself a few years from now. You can't wait. It just won't happen if you don't jump on it.
okay. Well, the next question that I wanted to ask you is like, what would be the number one piece of advice for composers or producers who are trying to make it? But in a way, it kind of already seemed that you answered this.
Yeah, definitely that. Um, yeah, there's so many things. There's a lot of stuff. Um,
Okay, so what would be like one big advice for someone who is just starting,
just starting.
trying to make it happen?
Yeah, learn the business tools, the business practice. Um, learn that, and otherwise you'll waste a lot of time um, just kind of waiting for something great to happen. Waiting for that magic client to come along, and you know, it's playing the lottery really when you do it that way. So
Mhm.
um yeah, learn the business, learn how to construct your business and run it. um that's the you keep that separate. You keep your business manager self as a separate person from your creator yourself, your artistic self. um,
Mhm.
and you learn how to switch between the two when you need to, and I think
Mhm.
that's what it takes to be successful.
Yeah, that's a great advice. Chris, I'm not going to take more of your time. I know it's valuable. I know that you're super busy at this point. It was a pleasure having you here. First of all, you make me a super proud coach to see you accomplishing so much already. If people want to know more about you and what you're doing, where can they find you, like online?
Yeah, all the social medias. I have a website, chrisclimber.com. Instagram, I'm probably the most active on, so I love people on Instagram and seeing their page and talking shop and discussing projects and passion and everything. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you so much, Kat. Appreciate it. Appreciate everything you've done, and it's definitely an awesome experience.